What's buzzing in India's luxury housing market? This segment seems to have recovered quite smartly in the year gone by, according to a wealthy home buyers survey released by India Sotheby's International Realty. And of course, we've all been reading the Zapkey data of what India's CEOs, unicorn founders, business tycoons and stock market newbie rich have been buying. And by the looks of it, lots of luxury real estate. Today on the show, we bring you a look ahead. Will luxury housing continue to do well, or was 2021 an outlier year? Well, let's get the answers from our guest, Amit Goyal, CEO of India Sotheby's International Realty. We also have with us Kalpesh Mehta, founder of Tribeca Developers, an exclusive partner for the Trump luxury real estate brand in India. And we have with us Sandeep Reddy, co-founder at Propstack and Zapkey. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I think, Amit, I'll start with you because the report was very intensive and interesting findings in the report got very well covered. I guess some headlines came out of it. Just quickly, if you could tell me how good was 2021, because post demonetization, this was the hardest hit segment, right?
Absolutely, Manisha. So happy to answer this. You see, we at India Sotheby's International Realty conducted a survey just about a month ago where we did interview about 200 plus HNIs and ultra HNIs, who are spread across the country in the top 8 cities. And our survey findings were very interesting, that over 1/4 of the respondents actually did buy a property in the last 18 months, which was the COVID, period. Mm-hmm. So that really gives us a strong sense that yes, people, most of the HNI, ultra HNI clientele, they have upgraded their properties, they have bought more properties. And that's been a sharp recovery in the sector. As far as demand is concerned, and I also strongly feel that going forward, we will see a good recovery on the prices too.
Okay, we'll come to the price a little bit later. Kalpesh, what has your experience been with sales, even in, let's say, your Gurugram project, Trump Towers? And I believe you've also taken on the mandate of some more luxury projects across top 7 cities. Run us through your own experience. Were there just pockets of projects which did very well and markets which did very well, or this was widespread?
Yeah, thanks, Manisha. We're seeing a sustained recovery in luxury real estate across the country. As you know, we have a few Trump projects around the country, and we also have non-Trump luxury projects. We specialize in luxury. And as you know, luxury was badly beaten for the last 7 to 8 years. And what we're seeing is a sustained recovery. And I think there is, 2 or 3 key fundamental reasons behind it. And we all know, most of them, but just at the risk of repetition, we've got incomes that have, been going up for the last, 10, 12 years, while prices have, either stagnated or, have come down. And now with interest rates at, all-time historic lows, we're looking at affordability at all-time highs. And you combine that with the change in mindset of customers post-pandemic, you only live once and, just buy bigger, better. All of this is sort of contributing towards a big upswing in luxury residential. And I think we're just at the starting of the trend, right? Real estate is like an elephant. It takes a long time to turn, which is why the downturn lasted 6-7 years. So now that it's turned, I think it's going to last a few years before it goes down.
Well, I hope for all your sakes, the elephant keeps dancing. Like you said, it's a cumbersome or a slothy animal, takes a while to get up. Sandeep, so I'm just looking at the data from Zapkey. The number one data which really, of course, made big headlines was 1,000 crores. That was the biggest transaction. And for our audience, when we are talking about luxury, we are not just talking about a 1 crore home. We're actually talking about 5 crore plus homes. That's the market we're looking at. Going up to, well, sky is the limit. Like we just said, 1,001 crore was the biggest sale of 2021. Was it historically the largest sale? And was it because prices haven't moved and HNIs thought it was a great opportunity to buy? What went on in the market according to your data?
Yeah, thanks, Manisha, for inviting me to the show. So as the other panelists said, this has been an unprecedented market for luxury housing. over the last 18 months. We've seen 1,001 crores deals stood out, but I think if you look at even 50 crore plus deals, right, which are like large deals. You said 5 crore, but I said even 50 crore plus deals. There have been so many over the last 18 months. And I think most of it, and then when you started the show, right, you said that there is unprecedented stock market boom, right? Just after the collapse that happened when COVID struck, the recovery and the wealth that has been created in the stock markets, the huge number of IPOs that have happened. And IPOs have a trickle down effect because it's not just the promoters who are making money. There is now a much larger wealth distribution of CXOs, management. So many people have made money, and that's why there's been a boost to this 5 crore plus ticket sizes, right? I think the only worry is that if the stock market's correct, the wealth that has been created, if it just goes down, there could be a break to the momentum.
Headwind. Okay.
That's the only risk I see. Otherwise, it's looking very, very positive right now.
Looking very formidable. But, Amit, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. Now, last year was literally like the stars were aligned, right? You had a big stamp duty cut in Mumbai, which had unprecedented registrations in Mumbai market. You had a circle rate rationalization and rebate in Delhi real estate, which also helps actually the most expensive markets of Delhi. You had home loans at their low, and you had all this pent-up demand. And price data, I'm looking at Zapkey, nothing in real estate has moved. In fact, some of the Mumbai markets are down over the last three years. So it seemed like everything was very, very positive. And then, stock markets took off and people made a lot of money. Why are you so confident that 2022 will do well? And like you said at the start of the show, you said that, look, I also expect prices to move up now.
Correct. I would agree with that. And you see, as you rightly mentioned, stamp duty cut in Bombay market, in Delhi market, the circle rate rebate of 20%. These initiatives by the government and support certainly, accelerated the demand and the growth. In terms of price, I would once again quote our recent survey, where 31% of the respondents, did mention the upgrade of space and lifestyle for as their primary reason for buying the home. However, at the same time, the remaining, also indicated that one of the reason for buying the property was not just self-use and lifestyle upgrade, but also investment, which indicates that these buyers are actually bullish on the prices. And these are all smart buyers. They are ultra HNIs and HNIs in the major cities. They are savvy, they are well-traveled, so they understand, and they read.
Kalpesh, are you confident that the pricing power has come back? Because this is a very sticky market. So all the HNIs, like Amit said, are very savvy investors per se, right? They see a great opportunity, they will buy. They're probably the savviest of the lot. So how sure are you that the prices now are going to firm up and demand will continue, considering that we could have a home loan rate revision this year? We could also have probably a lot of jitters in the stock market.
So, this is where all developers are treading quite cautiously. People were, stuck with a lot of inventory. You were stuck with the mental baggage of things not moving, as fast as you wanted them to. And when, when the market revives, people almost worried about moving pricing up too quickly. So I think pricing hasn't moved up because most of us haven't pushed it hard enough. I'll give you two examples. Our Trump project in Gurgaon, we had our best quarter in 5 years, the October to December quarter. We did about 350 crores of sales, in 3 months in that quarter. And at the beginning, we were worried about moving pricing because we said, things are just beginning to pick up. Why do we, why do we sort of jinx a bad thing? But we have started moving up pricing, 2%, 4%, and the market is absorbing it. Another example is Pune, where Post our launch in March, we've taken up pricing 25% there. There we were very, very confident. We saw very early successes, and we have been able to move pricing up 25%. So as I talk to my peers in the industry, I think people are just, treading cautiously into, it's not a science, right? It's not an exact science.
Right.
We're going to try it out, see what works. And my bet is that you will start to see pricing inching upwards.
Sandeep, you've got a better sense of, overall market. You capture the data. I'm looking at some of the data which came from Zapkey, and I'm looking at the fact that, look, prices haven't moved for sure. But in terms of new launches, are developers feeling confident across the top 7 cities to come up with more luxury inventory and price it higher?
Yeah, so I think, this is a good point that developers have started to try out new launches. In fact, when you said stamp duty cut and circle rate revisions, right? So they were just like they did create the momentum, but we've been surprised with how that momentum is sustained, right? There is no stamp duty cut now in Bombay specifically, right? And still there is very good momentum. What we've seen is that over the last, especially in 2020, right, when developers did not have the pricing power, they actually did price cuts. A lot of the supply in the luxury market got absorbed. Okay, now because the ready-to-move-in supply has reduced, pricing has not moved much. Demand continues to remain good. Are all ideal conditions where developers start planning new projects. In terms of supply, right, luxury housing, if we focus on the 5 to 15 crore type of ticket size, right, there are a lot of branded developers who planning, right, but the ultra luxury, right, these are all independent houses, and this supply is very, very limited, right, very, very limited in concentrated localities, right. Their price can only go up because of the limited supply and the kind of wealth creation happening, right? Everyone who's making a lot of wealth wants an address. That will definitely get price increases.
In fact, Sandeep, I'm going to build on what you've said, because the findings of the Sotheby survey actually says that 76% HNIs opted, saying that they will buy real estate, and only 11% said that they will buy commercial real estate. So here's a 67%. That's a huge number of HNIs and UHNIs saying that they want to buy residential real estate. Amit, that seems like a very, very positive factor. I think most of these buyers would be concentrated in the 15 crore plus market, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, this number of 76% is actually overwhelming. Where home buyers are anticipating and they are expected to buy another home in the next 2 years. You see, this is a clear indication that desire to upgrade home is continue to remain a big motivator in the coming years.
Okay, all right. There is an interesting addition to why that might happen, and the report findings are that work from home, despite the fact that the pandemic may not continue, or at least should, hopefully will be behind us, most people said that they don't expect to go back home full time, which essentially means that upgrading a residential property and a luxury residential property will continue to be a strong desire amongst HNIs. When we come back, we will take a look at the vacation home market. Goa was a market which was on fire in 2021, and this is really the upper end of the market. Will that momentum for non-urban homes continue, or will that at least settle down in 2022? We come back and take a look. Why and what are India's rich and wealthy buying when it comes to residential real estate? While larger luxury city apartments continue to top the charts according to India Sotheby's Luxury Outlook 2022 survey, surprisingly what has crept up in demand are vacation homes, and Goa specifically for HNIs has become a hugely desirable market. Kalpesh, so for a developer like you who's been only in the top 7 cities, right, the big cities, because that's where most of the demand is for luxury housing, Are you now looking at the trend of 2021 and saying, hey, I need to be in non-urban vacation places as well?
The time has come, Manisha. This is a product type that's always been very close to my heart. And we've tried doing this before, pre-pandemic, and the timing was never right? Just as an anecdote, if I'd asked 10 of my friends, if I'd describe a project I wanted to do, and I'd ask 10 of my friends, one or two would say, okay, we'll buy. Now when I pitch it to my friends and potential buyers, 8 out of 10 are saying they'd be very, very interested. For reasons, well known to all of us, post-pandemic has really shifted mindsets. And I think this is a product type whose time has come. And this is not just a trend in India. You're seeing this around the world, right? Prices of vacation homes, from New York, outside of New York to Hamptons, all over Europe, they're all going through the roof. Goa, Alibag, closer here to Mumbai, all going through the roof. And I think this is a trend that's here to stay.
Okay.
And this is something we're going, big into. There aren't many developers of scale operating in this space.
Amit, would you agree with Kalpesh that this trend is not transitory? It's likely to continue, because sometimes what happens is, people go back to life as usual and then they tend to forget that, oh my God, I really was looking for a home in Goa or the hills.
Yes, Manisha, that's very much correct. In fact, I am once again going to cite our survey, which indicated that about 25% of the respondents shown the desire to buy a holiday home in the next 1 year, and these most of these buyers and respondents, they look to work from home, work from holiday home in the times to come, because this culture of work from anywhere is going to continue for many more quarters, if not years, and desire to own a holiday home within India has really taken a lot of interest of the HNI and ultra HNI buyers in the luxury space.
Sandeep, just like the Goa market, in fact, some people were telling me it's gone up by 30% in 1 year. But again, is it all front loaded with both people who have such a strong grasp on the luxury housing market saying that this trend is likely to continue? Do you see prices cooling off at all, or, both demand and prices likely to continue elevated for these vacation homes and second home markets?
I think, given that work from home and hybrid work is here to stay, right? And that's given a boost to the second home or vacation home market. If demand sustains, right, which it's likely to sustain, pricing is also going to go up. So that's how we look at it, that the supply, the only thing is that if there is more supply, right, if developers, Kalpesh has already said that he's going big on this, right? If the supply starts increasing, then you probably have some supply pressure. But today, right now, I don't see so much supply pressure also in vacation homes, right? Good quality supply is still
and supply takes time, Sandeep. Supply in real estate is not immediate. I mean, just people have looked at the 2021 trends and they're like, now we need to get into that market. It's going to take at least 18 months to 3 years. And some of these markets are complicated markets for approvals and even acquisition of land. So it's a long drawn process. Amit, I just like to understand from you, and Kalpesh also mentioned this point. He said, look, there are two kinds of vacation homes. One is that you actually take a home in the hills or Goa, and the second is the outskirts of a city, the farmhouses. So, from a Mumbai, you would go to Karjat, or from Delhi, you would probably take a farmhouse in Asola. Tell me, which is the trend that you see stronger compared to what it was in pre-pandemic? I mean, people want to go to the outskirts of the big cities they want to live in, or they're willing to actually relocate to another destination altogether? Amit?
That's a great question, Manisha. Actually, it gives you the best of both worlds. So there have been increased interest of ultra HNI and HNI families to buy farmhouses within the 30 minutes, 60 minutes distance from the city center. And these are places where they have much larger open space. Typically they are 1 acre, 2 acre and plus land area with their own private swimming pool and the amenities that they look to set up. You see, they're not very far. So as and when there is any important meeting or engagement, they can always attend to that. So being in Goa or Alibag or, where you have to fly down, it takes much longer, much more time, much more, efforts. So people do prefer these farmhouses. The interest has really gone, very strong.
Okay. Kalpesh, where would you take the bet? Would you actually go to a hill or a seaside destination, or would you stick to the outskirts of large cities?
So primarily to the outskirts of large cities. The only exception being Goa. We're looking at a very large project in Goa, but aside of that, I think most of the juice is going to come from within sort of 45 to 90 minutes from city centers, right? So a Karjat up to a Pauna in Mumbai, or a Sona in NCR, or the outskirts of Bangalore and Hyderabad. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, we've run out of time, but thank you very much. I know this is a niche sort of a market, but looking at the number of millionaires we have made in the stock market in the last 1 year, the unicorns and the entrepreneurs, I think that, it's a market worth looking at in terms of the value of the market is pretty high when it comes to real estate. Thanks to all our audience for watching. Goodbye and see you soon.